Hello everybody. I was getting the WLtoys 144001 car ready to do a speed test on 3S, and if you remember, every time I try to get above 50 miles an hour it would launch itself. So I'm going to do a few little adjustments on the car, and I found another quirk. And I found something that I think will probably help a bunch of us. So let's just go ahead and get started on this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I found another little tiny quirk between version 1 and version 2 cars that I thought I'd show to whoever is interested. This car, I tried to do a 3S speed pass with it, and every time I got to 50 miles an hour it just went airborne. So I'm going to do some modifications on this. I added some droop screws to the front, and when I got to the rear there is no hole for droop screws. So, and this is a version 2 car, and for those that weren't in from the beginning of this, the version 1 car on the ESC had a remote switch. On the version 2 car, the ESC had a little tab on the top of it that you push to turn the ESC on and off, and on the version 3 car, there was actually a switch on the ESC to turn it on and off. One car. Also, the axles are shorter on this car, and I'll show you. See, the axle does not stick through the wheel nut when this thing is tightened properly. Let me use a better pointer than my finger. So the axle does not stick through the wheel nut when the wheel nut is tightened properly. This is a version 2 car, and you can see the threads actually protrude through the wheel nut, which allows the nylock nut to hold on better. The wheels don't fall off on the version 2 and 3 cars like they did on the version 1 car. Now here's the other thing. On the suspension arm there is a hole for the droop screw. Now if you don't know what the droop screw is, it limits the travel. I haven't added any to this car. I have added them to this one. I don't have one of the front tires on, but let me throw a tire on there real quick. It's easier to see. This is with the droop screws installed, and this is without them. So you can see the angle of the A-arms. So there's a lot of travel in the suspension on this car, and virtually none on this car. It goes down just a little bit. That way if you hit a rock or something, it's got a little bit of ability to give, but it keeps the front end closer to the ground. See, my finger won't even fit underneath this one, and you know, you can see there's a significant difference in these cars. What the droop screws do is keep the suspension, or limit the suspension travel, and the way they work, they screw through the suspension arm and they hit these tabs, and it limits the travel on the arm. Keeps it closer to the ground, keeps air from getting underneath it. So everybody's wanting to see a speed run on this car on a 3S battery, and that's about the only way I'm going to get to do it. Anything above 50 miles an hour, it was leaving the ground. So anyway, that's the quirk that I've run across. So what I'm going to have to do is either buy another set of arms or just drill a couple of holes in here, and I've got this one to know the proper size of the drill bit that I need. Just need to drill them right over the top. It's not absolutely super duper critical. I just need to get them at the same place on both arms. I can limit the travel on the rear of the vehicle, also keep it a little closer to the ground. The axle does not stick out of the wheel nut. So if you look at the axle and the dog bone together, they are the same length as the front CVDs. Now the interesting thing, and this will be easier to see maybe. So here's the old axle, and this is the new CVD on the right, And you see it's got at least a millimeter longer threads on there. So this will engage the wheel nut better. So I've got the CVD just drops right in, and it fits this bearing, and it fits inside the hub assembly, no problem. And you just drop this back in to the differential. Clip this back on. And there we go. So the CVD is a replacement, and I'll put a wheel on there. Okay, put the wheel nut on there. You have just a thread or so showing out of the end of the wheel nut, and that's going to give you more engagement into the nylon, and you shouldn't have any troubles with these wheels falling off anymore. I just wanted to show you there is some slight variation. It's just another little quirk I've found on these cars. The front arms had the holes for the droop screws. The rear arms did not in the version 1 car, at least in my version 1 car. I have a version 2 and a version 3 car, and they both have the holes in the suspension arms. So rather than swap the arms over, I'm just going to drill holes in those. May change this car out to aluminum. You know, if anybody's interested in me just doing full-blown speed testing on this car, drop something in the comments. I'm kind of undecided if that's the direction I want to go or not. But if enough people are interested in it, I may give it a shot. There's a bunch of people already doing that, so let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing this car turned into a full-blown speed run car. So I went ahead and drilled those holes and put the screws. These are 3x12. The hole that I drilled in there was in a decimal. It was 0.01 and roughly 2.5 millimeter. So you can see easier this way. This is all the travel I have on this side of the car, and I don't know that that's where it's going to end up. I'm just doing this to illustrate. This is your current amount of travel, and this is the amount of travel that it has now. That's as far down as it's going to come back. So that's going to lower the back of the car, keep a little bit of air out from underneath the bottom of it. So, and these, I think I already said this, 3x12 millimeter. And you may need longer or shorter. It depends on your car, and this will work on almost any car that's got these little tabs on the bottom of it. This is going to be the way you want to do this if you're going to be doing some speed runs. So now the front and the rear of the car are very low. As you can see, this battery will not fit under the car now. It also doesn't, just barely fits under the rear. And now I don't know that this is where I'm going to leave it, but that's what we have for now. And in contrast, here's the other car. You can fit that and a LiPo under the front of the car. Not quite under the rear. You can fit this and just almost get the LiPo under it. So it lowers it quite a bit. One thing that you have to keep in mind if you do this, you're going to have to tinker with the probably the front end alignment. See, I'm actually towed out now, so I'm going to have to adjust the upper arms, change the length of those, because this tire I see is leaned out, it's cambered out. Would be positive camber. Change the camber on this one, and once I do that, I'll change the toe. But you're going to need to realign the wheels after you do all of this kind of stuff. So that's where we are for this minute. I don't have the all the stuff I need to put this wing on the front just yet. I've got to get some more materials. If anybody is interested in keeping up with this project, I'm just doing this one on 3S with stock gears and everything else. If anybody is interested in the pursuit of a just an all-out speed car, leave that in the comments. If you want to keep up with this project, subscribe and tag along. I'll try to get back on this as quick as I can get the rest of my materials in. So appreciate everybody. If you got any questions, throw them down in the comments. I'll get to them as quick as I can. I try to answer everything. If I don't answer you, it's not because I didn't want to. It's just because I missed it. So I'll try. Oh, by the way, I've got another set of CVDs ordered from the front, or for the front, so that I can get a proper wheel nut contact on there. And I'm gonna go ahead and put blue Loctite on there anyway. Anytime you're doing pretty high speed runs, it's not a bad idea to have the Loctite, even with the nylock washers. Anyway, appreciate everybody. Take care, and I'll catch you guys down the road.